Hi everyone and welcome back to Story of the World Highlights. Today we'll be discussing chapter 29, and that is our long-awaited chapter on Napoleon. So let's get started. So here is our little journey to him becoming emperor. First, after we had the National Assembly and we finally killed off our head of public safety, Robespierre, we then decided that France needed to have some kind of different governing body. Having everyone in charge wasn't working. So they decided to elect 5 people to be the top deciders of everything that happened. And those 5 people were known as the Directory. Now, the Directory needed to take care of some business, and there was a rising general in the ranks. He was a rising star, and his name was Napoleon Bonaparte. He had helped Robespierre as part of public safety, helping round up people, helping kill people, things like that. But he was a top general, and the Directory decided to give him a mission. Near France, we have Italy. And in North Italy, we have the area right here called Piedmont. And Piedmont is not owned by France or Austria, but it is very close to France. And at the time, the part of Italy that was on the other side of Piedmont was called Lombardy. And in Lombardy, it was owned by Austria, and there was lots of revolutions happening. And Austrian troops were moving in to try and take control of the area and cover the bases. But they were getting really close into Piedmont and into French territory. So the Directory sent Napoleon to go over into North Italy and push those Austrians back toward Vienna, way over here. Okay? So he did that. He came into Lombardy and he said, "We have come to set you free." And as he was going, he did stop every now and then and say, "Ooh, that's cool. Send that art to France. Ooh, that's cool. Send that art to France." But he did set those people free and liberated them. He pushed those Austrians out of North Italy and back into Vienna. And finally, he came to a compromise with the leader of Austria, Franz Joseph. And Franz Joseph made a deal. Fine, peace treaty. You can have Lombardy, you can have our areas in Belgium, and you leave us alone. And so Napoleon said, deal. And he headed back to France, a hero, and everybody was like, woohoo, hero. And so now he needed a new mission, and the Directory knew this. They knew that he was getting a little power hungry. So the Directory said, how about you go to, and before they could even tell him, he said, I'll go to Egypt. And so they were like, okay, that's far away. Go to Egypt. And so he went to Egypt, and there he also arrived and said, I have come to set you free from your Turkish oppressors who are in charge of you right now. He's really coming in and trying to be I'm the savior. And it worked. And he also, while he was there, said, ooh, that's cool. Ooh, that's pretty. Send those back to France. On his way out, the English who were in the area making sure that Napoleon wasn't messing with their land met him in a battle at the Nile River, and the British captured his ships. So he snuck away and got back to France safely. Now, while the French people didn't know what really happened in Egypt, they saw him come back with lots of treasures and said, woohoo, you must have won. So again, they praised him. And at this point, he has now successfully invaded Egypt. He's successfully invaded Italy. And now he's ready to be the new leader of France. So he came in with a giant army into the Directory's office. And he said, you've got to go. I'm the new leader. And they saw all those soldiers and they were like, okay, bye now. And they decided to set up, when I say they decided, Napoleon decided to set up an ancient Roman-style government known as the 3 consuls. And he made himself the first consul. And soon enough, there only became 1 consul. And of course, that was him. So we had the 1 consul, Napoleon. And on his to-do list as consul, he decided that they needed to fix these laws that they had in France. In France at the time, they were using archaic laws from the time of kings. It wasn't making sense. And so he created, with a bunch of advisors, the Napoleonic codes. Now, these codes addressed everything. They addressed the economy, they addressed businesses, they addressed hierarchies. And for the most part, it was really good and helped modernize France, and it helped really strengthen France. However, it wasn't great all around. It definitely took away rights from women. Women used to have some rights and opportunities and freedoms. And now Napoleon, who had the mindset women should just stick to knitting and making babies, he took all their rights away. They didn't even have the right to their own children, to their own money, nothing. So women were not too pleased with this. Shortly thereafter, he decided with his Napoleonic codes, he was going to make a new constitution that gave him all the power. And after he gave himself all the power, he said, you know what? I think I should be emperor. That way, if I have kids, they can inherit my throne. And so he, wearing an emperor's crown, in a golden throne in Notre Dame, holding the sword of who he claimed was the sword of the first Holy Roman Emperor, Charlemagne, he said, I am now the emperor. He put down the sword and he grabbed a golden crown of laurel leaves and put it on his head. And he said, I'm emperor now. And on his to-do list as emperor, first was new laws, done. Emperor, done. Now he needed money so that he could expand France. And he said, you know what? I'm just going to focus on our land in Europe. It's hard to manage land that's so far away in America. So he went and he sold France's last remaining territory, the Louisiana Territory, to America for $15 million. America doubled in size in just one day because of this purchase. Now, he sold Louisiana, check his $15 million now, and he decided it was time to go against their greatest enemy, Britain. So he got his ships ready. He was going to go and attack the English, but the English had the best navy in the world. So even though he prepared so many ships and so many soldiers, and he was confident he was going to win, they lost terribly, completely. And that was called the Battle of Trafalgar, and he didn't win. So he realized, I can't capture Britain. Moving on, I shall capture the rest of Europe for France. And that's where our chapter leaves off. So I will see you next time for Story of the World Highlights. Bye-bye.